He sent me an email and he said, you have one time to mention the Ohio State University, right? You mentioned it. I haven't mentioned it yet. However, last night, the Buckeyes went into Gainesville, Florida, and beat the Gators 93-75. I rest my case for the Ohio State University. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a fourth-generation Republican. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, my father, and me. And my father grew up in a northern Illinois town called Rockford. And he used to tell me about this lifeguard who was a friend of his who he grew up with. And he'd always tell me about Dutch this and Dutch that. And I said, okay, Dad, yeah. And one day he said, I think Dutch may become president one day. So I said, Dad, who are you talking about? He grew up and was a lifeguard with Ronald Reagan. To go in full circle, in 1980, I was managing editor of the Cincinnati Call and Post newspaper. I had a front page editorial running the newspaper, and I worked on Reagan's campaign for president. So my roots are deep in the Republican Party, and I never changed. I don't care what they say about African Americans are supposed to be Democrats. They can kiss my butt. I'm going to have it. I moved down here in 1991, and I joined the Regional Republican Club, and Carol Aylwin was the president at the time. We stuffed envelopes, we walked precincts in the heat, we made phone calls, we knocked on doors, we got doors slammed in our faces. 1994, I was campaign manager for a lady who ran for the school board named Lorna Bryan. She was a Republican who had 7 children, all came through the Broward County schools, all graduated, all went to college, all got degrees or got advanced degrees. She was eminently more qualified than the Democrat she was running against. So I went to a big name Republican. I won't mention his name. If I mention his name, you'll know who he is. And I said, listen, this is 1994. I said, listen, I need your help. I called him on the phone. He said, yeah, what do you want? I said, I've got a person running for the school board. She's eminently qualified, and I want your support. Can I have a meeting with you? He said, sure, you can have a meeting with me. I said, at your office? No, don't come to my office. I said, well, where do we meet? We met at a McDonald's on 441 near Sunrise Boulevard. So I went in and I said, this is what I need. I need you to endorse her publicly, and I need you to throw all the support you can behind her. She said, I can't do that. I said, why not? All my business would dry up, and my mother, who's a lifelong Democrat, would leave me ever. Never speak to me again. That's the tenor of the time it was in 1994, when we were walking the streets and trying to get Republicans elected in Broward County. Those times have changed. I'm not saying that we're out of the woods, but Richard Nixon once said that Republicans were the silent majority. We sat back, we watched the Democrats fight among themselves, we registered, we voted, and 9 times out of 10 we won. Now, the Democrats are sitting back, and they're watching us fight among ourselves. I know the other presidents who are running for chairman. I respect each and every one of them, and if one of them gets more votes than me, I will do whatever I can to help them, and I will do whatever I can to help the party, because I'm a Republican. It's in my blood. My father would roll over in his grave and come out and probably kick my butt if I did anything other. So, there are 2 things you need to win in politics: money and votes. It's all well and good to have a Lincoln Day every year, but suppose Lincoln Day is canceled, or suppose you don't make money on a Lincoln Day, then you don't have any money. Events are fine, but I'm a professional fundraiser. You have to be able to go out and seek people like that man and say, I know you have deep pockets. I want your check or your pledge before you leave, and don't move a muscle. You're smiling. I told you don't move a muscle. That's what you have to do. There are people in Broward County who have deep pockets. They would support us, but they give to the state level and they give to the national level because they think we're not doing anything in Broward County. I have a way, and I have some contacts from Ohio, because that's where I'm from. I hate to mention Ohio again, but there it is. What can I say? And I will be able to go and get an individual, bring them to the table, bring the other individuals to the table and say, I want your checks. I'm 6'6". What the heck are they going to do? They're going to give me the money. I learned fundraising from a banker in Cincinnati, Ohio, named Clem Benger. Clem Benger was a 6'6" German. Fifth Third Bank. He invited all the wealthy individuals, raised more money than anybody in the history of Hamilton County. He invited all the wealthy individuals down to the bank, and he said, come to the conference room tomorrow at 4:30. Well, they didn't want to come because they knew he was going to ask for money. But if they didn't show up, then they weren't among the who's who anymore. So they all came. He walked through to the back, locked the conference room door, 6'6", walked to the front, locked the conference room door, and he turned and he said, I have a project, and I need $2.4 million. I want your check or your pledge before you leave. Well, they grumbled and they grumbled, but they wrote the checks. They passed the checks to the front. He had someone adding up. After they added them up, he said, how much do we have? We're $200,000. We're $200,000 short. I need another $200,000. That's the way you raise money, because with the money, we will get Republicans elected. Thank you, God bless.